Welcome to Best English Stories. Before we start the video, I want to know why you are learning English, so that we can build a strong and supportive community together. Here are some options. A. To travel abroad. B. For better jobs. C. For personal growth. D. Any other reason. Please share your reason in the comments below. Now, let's dive into today's story. My name is Sarah. I am 42 years old. I am married. My husband's name is Daniel, and he is significantly older than me. Daniel is 63 years old. We have been married for 21 years. Daniel and I have 2 daughters. Our first daughter is 20 years old, and our second daughter is just a year old. We lead a modest life. Daniel works, and I stay home. I manage the house and care for our children. Everything seemed fine, but now my life feels very sorrowful and challenging. One day, I discovered something very upsetting: Daniel has a girlfriend. I was extremely hurt and stunned. Daniel is my spouse. We've been together for a long time. I believed he loved me, but now I am unsure. I attempted to talk to Daniel about it. I asked him, "Daniel, is this true? Do you have a girlfriend?" But he was irritated. He said, "You are creating an issue for no reason." However, I knew it was true. I knew Daniel was concealing something. I wanted to uncover more, so one night, I checked Daniel's phone. Daniel saw me and became furious. He yelled at me. He said, "Why are you looking through my phone? You have no right." I was frightened, but I needed clarity. Later, I reviewed his phone bill. I noticed a peculiar phone number. Daniel had called this number repeatedly. He called it almost every day. I dialed the number. A woman answered. She was Daniel's girlfriend. She is the same age as me. She has a daughter, and she is also married. She told me, "It is not my concern if my husband finds out." I was shocked. I felt deeply saddened. My heart was shattered. I confronted Daniel again. I told him I was aware of the truth. But Daniel was enraged once more. He said, "I will stop it when I choose to. You cannot tell me what to do." I wept. Daniel had been unfaithful before. This happened when our first daughter was born. Now, with our second daughter, it is occurring again. I need him, but he is involved with someone else. I am on a break from work to look after our baby. I cannot resume work yet. We have a loan for our flat. The flat is in my name, but we contribute to it together. Soon, our child support payments will end, and we depend on Daniel's income for our household. Daniel is aware of this, so he feels dominant. He thinks he can act however he pleases. He says he could even have another girlfriend if he wishes. He disregards my emotions. Our older daughter tries to reason with him. She says, "Dad, this is wrong. Please stop." But he becomes angry. He says offensive words to her as well. He is hurting us all. We feel very isolated. One evening, Daniel stopped coming home at night. He claimed he was working late, but I did not believe him. He neither called me nor sent any messages. I stayed awake all night waiting for him. I was anxious and scared. In the morning, he came home, but he was upset. He said, "Stop questioning me. I am fed up with this." Another time, he informed me that he wanted to go on a trip. I asked him, "Can we go together?" But he said no. He wanted to go alone. I was disheartened. Why did he want to go alone? Daniel also began spending a significant amount of money. I noticed that we had less money every month. I asked him, Daniel, where is the money going? He replied, don't concern yourself with it. I will take care of it. But I was anxious. I checked our bank statements. I saw that he was spending money on presents. I saw that he was dining at upscale restaurants. I realized he was spending this money on his girlfriend. Now we have less money for our family. We need money for our kids. We need money for our flat. But Daniel does not care. He only prioritizes his girlfriend. The stress began to affect my health. I couldn't sleep. I lost my appetite. I felt constantly exhausted. I visited the doctor, and he advised me, you need rest. You are overly stressed. But how can I rest? I have so many troubles. My husband has a girlfriend. My family needs financial support. I feel like I have no control over my circumstances. Our older daughter is also deeply upset. She doesn't smile as much as before. She avoids talking to her friends. She feels embarrassed by her father. She cannot comprehend why he is behaving this way. Our younger daughter is just an infant. She does not understand what is happening, but I worry about her future. I want her to experience a joyful family. But right now, our family is fractured. I confided in my best friend about my struggles. She suggested, maybe you should leave Daniel. But I feel trapped. I cannot leave him because we rely on him. I cannot manage the children alone. I have no job at the moment. I require his assistance. My family also encouraged me to stay strong. They said, maybe Daniel will change. Maybe he will return to you. But I am uncertain. I fear that he will never change. I fear that he will always choose his girlfriend over us. I do not know what to do. I am sorrowful and feel very fragile. I still love Daniel, despite all this pain. I want him to return to our family. I want him to remember us. I want him to leave his girlfriend. But I am unsure if this will happen. I feel lost. I feel like I am in a dark tunnel and cannot find my way out. One day, I decided to talk to my parents about everything. I told them how Daniel had betrayed me again, and how hard it was to deal with the situation. My mother held my hand and said, Sarah, you are stronger than you think. Don't let him destroy you. But my father was angry. He said, Daniel doesn't deserve a family like yours. You should take the children and leave. Their words gave me some strength, but deep down, I still felt helpless. I began to think about my options. Could I leave him? How would I provide for my daughters without a job? Every time I thought about it, the weight of responsibility crushed me. My little one, Emily, was still just a baby. She needed constant care, and my older daughter, Lily, was struggling emotionally. She barely spoke to me anymore, retreating into her room after school and refusing to talk about her feelings. One evening, as I was sitting alone in the kitchen, Lily came to me and said, Mom, we can't live like this anymore. Dad doesn't care about us. He only cares about himself. Her words broke my heart. I could see how much pain Daniel's actions had caused her. She used to be so happy, always laughing and joking around. Now, she seemed like a shadow of herself. I hugged her tightly and said, Lily, I promise you, I'll do whatever I can to make things better. We'll find a way to be happy again. But even as I said those words, I wasn't sure how to keep that promise. A few days later, Daniel announced that he wanted to sell our apartment and move to another city. I was shocked. Why would we sell our home? I asked him. He shrugged and said, "It's too small. We need a bigger place." But I knew the real reason. He wanted to sell it so he could have more control over the money. I refused. "This apartment is in my name," I told him. "I won't let you sell it." He laughed and said, "You can't stop me, Sarah. I'll do whatever I want." His words terrified me. I realized that Daniel didn't just want to hurt me emotionally, he wanted to take away the little security I had left. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what Daniel might do next. Would he leave us with nothing? Would he abandon us completely? My mind was racing with fear and uncertainty. In the morning, I called my best friend, Rachel, and told her everything. She said, "You need to protect yourself, Sarah. Talk to a lawyer and find out your rights. Don't let Daniel control you." Her advice made sense, but the idea of confronting Daniel in court scared me. I didn't want to start a legal battle, but I also couldn't let him ruin our lives. Over the next few weeks, I started making small changes. I created a separate bank account and began saving any extra money I could find. I started looking for part-time jobs online, even though I wasn't sure how I would manage with Emily needing so much care. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I had to try. Meanwhile, Daniel became more distant. He stopped coming home most nights and barely spoke to me when he was around. He acted as if we didn't exist. The loneliness was unbearable, but I tried to stay strong for my daughters. One afternoon, Lily came home from school crying. "What's wrong?" I asked her, but she didn't want to talk. After some time, she finally said, "Mom, the kids at school are talking about Dad. They say he has a girlfriend and doesn't love us anymore." Hearing that broke me. I didn't know how to comfort her. I said, "Lily, I'm so sorry. I know this is hard, but remember, none of this is your fault. Your dad loves you, even if he's making bad choices." But I wasn't sure if that was true anymore. One day, while Daniel was out, I decided to do something I had been avoiding for weeks. I wrote him a letter. In it, I poured out all my feelings, the pain, the betrayal, and the fear. I told him how his actions were hurting not just me, but our entire family. I begged him to think about our daughters and to make things right. I left the letter on the dining table for him to find. That night, he came home late as usual. He saw the letter, read it, and threw it in the trash without saying a word. I realized then that I couldn't rely on Daniel to change. If I wanted to save my family, I would have to do it on my own. I started attending a support group for women in similar situations. Talking to others who understood my pain gave me some hope. They encouraged me to take small steps toward independence, and for the first time in a long while, I felt like I had a bit of control over my life. I also began spending more time with Lily and Emily. We started doing little things together, like baking cookies and watching movies. Slowly, I could see Lily smiling again. It wasn't much, but it was a start. As for Daniel, he continued to drift further away. He still spent most of his time with his girlfriend, but I no longer begged him to stay. Instead, I focused on building a better future for my daughters and me. Now, I don't know what the future holds. I'm still scared, but I'm also determined. I want to create a life where my daughters feel loved and secure. Whether Daniel decides to be a part of that life or not is up to him. But one thing is certain, I won't let him take away our happiness anymore. If you enjoyed this extended story, please like, subscribe, and share.